All right, guys, welcome in, welcome back. Look at the picture here. Okay, I need to move some things around here. Give me just a second here, boy. I was trying to get ready. Ah, man. All right, hold on here, guys. This is crazy. Let me close this browser out. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but the wrong browser. There we go. Now we got it. We got it. Anyway, welcome in, welcome back. Reporting from FEMA Region 7. Now, I just had this article up, and it just disappeared. It's from the presscorps.california.us Air Force redeploys X-37B climate chaos, earthquake, and tsunami, introducing orbital HARP weapon. Well, somehow the page disappeared right before the show, and I can't even get into it at all. Like, I can't even get to the presscorps.california U.S. Air Force. It's just gone. Anyway, we got so much news to get into. We're going to get into the 16-day forecast, so you guys will be prepared. These storms are not like normal storms. Before we get into that, and we're going to talk a little bit about the earthquakes and all that stuff going on, what you need to know about this interbearing, this hemispheric railway that they're putting in. Now, we got reason to believe this thing could already be in. But when you talk, you got to think about the New World Order, the one world government, the one world religion. They're going to connect everything together, just like the internet of everything, the 5G. But they're definitely putting this tunnel in to connect Russia to the United States. These things are going to go underground 5 miles, and then they're going to pop out. But just want to keep this in mind, because when you look at all the maps on this, you're going to find out that a lot of the fires that are going on, a lot of the weird earthquakes, a lot of the weird explosions, a lot of the weird things that are going on are right on the path of this proposed tunnel. So something to keep in mind. This will kind of give you an idea of where the targets are, where the next targets are. Anyway, let me close this out. I'll put the links in after the show. Every night YouTube blocks our video, and then I gotta do I gotta send them the little thing, and then the next day they usually let it go through. It's just a pain in the butt every night. Well, if you didn't know, the Jim Beam building caught on fire. In fact, we got all kinds of fires and explosions that's been going on all across the United States. You had a Reno campus dorms that blew up. You've had a paper plant blow up in Muskogee. South Philly, you had an oil refinery gas explosion in the Florida Plaza. So, I mean, you just got all kinds of stuff. But this Jim Beam building that blew up or burned up, all the bourbon is going into the river, killing all the fish. The fish have been found dead in the Kentucky River, which state environmental officials predicted. It's a disturbing scene on the Kentucky River after runoff from the Jim Beam bourbon warehouse fire leads to a large fish kill. They're saying this is going about 23 miles right now. It was just a steady stream of fish and foam floating down the river. They've never seen anything like it. So just more die-offs, more, issues. That's going to tell you that, next year food prices are going to spike, man. This is all going to their plan, the Georgia Guidestones. They didn't build that for fun. It's the UN, Anyway, I wanted to bring this article back up because it just popped back up today. Tar, natural gas rises up onto the streets near the La Brea tar pits. It's coming out of LA. This happened just a while back. Same thing. I showed you guys last night all the methane that's been leaking out from inside the earth. I think a lot of it has to do with the fracking. Another interesting about this, where the earthquake hit over here a while back, there was there's actually gold. They were gonna mine this place for oil, but they end up finding gold, and then they poured a bunch of acid down in there, and now there's a quarry there, so you can just imagine what they're doing there. Now we got all the fake mainstream talking about there's a 96% chance that up to 8 more earthquakes could shake Southern California. How would they know? You know, if they're telling us to look here, that means we need to be looking somewhere else. There's something else going on. 30,000 aftershocks, months of quakes could follow the U.S. I mean, they're saying this is going to be going on for months. And we're going to get into some of our thinking on this. You also have the steamboat geyser in Yellowstone National Park is approaching a record number of eruptions. This thing has been popping off like crazy. Now, I think we got some magma on the move. You know, we've had tons of volcanic activity just going on worldwide. I mean, why are they geoengineering the skies? We've had plenty of volcanoes to cool the planet down. Then we had a 6.9, actually it was a 7.1 earthquake to hit. And then there was a tsunami warning in Indonesia. You know, that reminds me too, over in Spain, the ocean receded. It pulled out, like the beaches were dry. When we see stuff like that, man, it could be, you know, signs of something big about to happen. So strong earthquake hits Indonesia's Maluku Islands. Probably pronounced that wrong, but hey. Alright, so one thing I wanted to get into. The Naval Air Weapons Station at China Lake evacuated after the earthquake. California Guards sending 200 troops for support. Now, there's a lot of fishy stuff going on with this earthquake. But one thing, if you didn't know about this China Lake, now we know they got underground bunkers and all that stuff, underground tunnels. But this place was where they did mind control operations. So this was a mind control programming. Different personalities or personality parts called alters can be created who do not know each other, but can take the body at different times. It's kind of like an amnesia. The Monarch mind control was carried out in a large airplane hangar on the base, which have been able to house thousands of tiny cages just large enough for human babies. Lots of them, thousands. Anyway, I'm going to leave this if you want to know more about this operation. And back then, this was a secret China Lake base. But this is where they did mind control and all that stuff. So then you got to wonder, so what are these earthquakes, some kind of mind control? Or are they trying to set us up for something else? Now, this property's been used by FEMA before. There's a radio station with a FEMA transmitter station. I think so, Cynthia. Anyway, there's a lot of information to read on this. We got too much to get into to go into this deep. I'll try to make up a different video on that, just exclusively on this China Lake thing. We just reported the other day about how the Flint water crisis, they dropped all the criminal charges. And while that's going on, they're going to take the people's houses for not paying for the poison water. I mean, this is just getting nuts, guys. This is going on, still going on. Down here in Australia, you have drought and climate change blamed for the death of century-old sandalwood trees. Thanks there, Mary Long. You know, they don't factor in the aerosols that are being deployed down here. They've been dropping all the 1080, spraying the Monsanto stuff. You know, I bet if you did some research on this tree, I bet it's dying from aluminum poisoning. or something of that nature. That's something somebody down there needs to try to do. Let me get rid of that. Try to keep the tabs down so we don't do some stuff here. I'm going to take you over to my Facebook page. That way I didn't have to load a bunch of stuff. But I want you to see some of this footage coming out of Europe from this downburst. Now they're getting the same kind of weather warfare here. I mean, it's blowing these monstrous ships right into the restaurants. I mean, they can't stop them. The wind is too insane. Tons of videos coming out of here. And I wanted to show you this big old crack here. It's California. And I forgot to tell you guys that check out this lightning strike on this boat. This is in Boston. Let's see if it'll replay here. I mean, hopefully you guys can see that okay. So wow, look at that. Crazy, man. Okay, here's the beach in Portugal or Spain. All the water from the ocean has went out, back out. There's no water at the beach. Where is it at? So something to keep your eye on over here in Spain. We've had tornadoes up in North Carolina. Got plenty of footage on that other stuff. So I want to go ahead and close this out. I'm going to try to bring this picture in because this is going to blow your mind. Let me see if I can bring this picture in. I used it on my thumbnail yesterday and then I forgot to tell you what it was all about. So let me bring this in here if I can get the broadcaster to work. So let me do here, we want to do a screen capture and a window capture, and we want this, I think. There we go. Alright guys, check this picture out. You think this is California? I mean, just take a look at this thing. You think this road right here that is moving, like, I mean, we're talking a couple feet right here. This is in Minnesota. This is not California. There's a big shift going on up there. They have miles of highway closed down because it's like moving. Now I forgot to yeah, the tree frogs are going nuts out there. Yeah, I forgot to get all the information on this. I went back to my email and couldn't find it, but I was asking for somebody to go up there and get a picture of this, and they did. Thanks for doing that, because when we looked at it from the mainstream, it was only about a 6-inch drop. Now look at it. So this isn't even California. This is up in, I think it was Minnesota. I'll double check into that, but yeah, man, pretty crazy stuff. Let's go ahead and we're going to jump into the 16-day forecast. And I just wanted to show you guys, you know, we've been keeping track of the bunker fuel. We couldn't find any ships out here yesterday. Guess where they're all at? They're all way out here off of the Kamchatka out here by Russia. All of these ships, not a few. Now, I couldn't get this to load all the way earlier. Look, it's like not loading. Here we go. Now we can start to see them. All these long straight lines. These are the ship tracks. These are weather modification ships. There's at least 100 of them, and they're deploying the bunker fuel, the most toxic emissions on the planet. Some of them could be the carbon fiber clouds. But yeah, so we're going to see what all the bunker fuel has done to the last few storms. And what you'll notice is these storms, they have the jet stream pulled up and around the United States, which there is starting to get a new trough there by California. But these storms are parking in one spot, like they're keeping them there. If you look at the tornadoes that happen up in South Dakota, some of them tornadoes were sitting there for 30 minutes in the same spot. I mean, these are this is some crazy stuff going on. Let me go ahead and bring up the GFS model here. We're going to jump into this. Go ahead and get it over to the forecast models. They don't show up. Most of these ships will not show up on these ship trackers. Not at all. They're pretty much invisible. I've tried before, but I just don't have the time to try to track them down and all that. It's just like the weather modification planes. If you have the right app, it will track them, and it'll say they're weather modification planes. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to jump into the GFS model. We're going to check the Canadian model, and then we're going to take a look at a few other things. But then during the next 2 weeks, we'll be factoring in the weather modification, and you'll see this forecast will be more accurate than any of these mainstream lying sock puppets. I mean, we could just go by the weather engineering programs, but anyway, here we go. We're going to jump out 6 hours at a time. You've seen in the thumbnail where the target zones were. In fact, I guess we could bring that up first and to show you where the target zones are going to be. So we're going to put this on the total amount of precipitation, and then we're going to crank it all the way up for the next 16 days, basically 2 weeks. And you're going to see right here the target zones are southern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, Alabama, the panhandle of Florida, Georgia, and just right there in the corner of the Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, and a little spot up in North Dakota, and up here in Washington. So that's the target zones, and a little bit there in Arizona. So we're talking feet of rain. And you're going to see what they're going to do. We're getting ready to look here, but they're going to be parking these systems over the same areas over and over, just like they have been. And they could easily do that with no jet stream pushing these pressures out. They've got the jet streams bypassing the United States. That way they can easily pull up the atmospheric river, and then they just use the NEXRADs to move this thing around. I'm going to be bringing on here in a couple weeks. I've been communicating with David Miles of the Miles Research Company, who is a weather modifier. He calls it weather moderation. He's actually working on something to where he's going to offer, for countries getting flooded out and all this stuff. I don't know. We'll get into it later. But anyway, he's agreed to come on the show, and we'll get his side of the story and jump into that. So here we go. Let's get into the 16-day forecast here. We're going to jump up 6 hours at a time. We'll let you know the crucial areas and the crucial dates of the severe stuff. And like we told you a couple weeks ago, man, it was going to be flooding the south now. And here it comes. So the weather pattern has changed. Here we are on July 9th. You're going to get a little bit of severe weather there in South Carolina, Nebraska, up in Wyoming, and it's just going to kind of stick around. You're going to notice these storms aren't going to be moving very fast. They're just going to kind of get stuck. So they're going to start flooding the south and southeast out. The same areas just keep getting hit. Here we are still on Tuesday, July 9th. We're going to take this on up. And we're looking at some severe weather for North Dakota again. Up into Canada. I mean, possible tornadoes up here. Tornadoes in Canada. That's right. They're coming. So North Dakota here on Wednesday. Heads up. Parts of Wyoming there. North Dakota still getting hit. They're going to just keep parking this moisture down here in Florida. So here we are on Wednesday, July 10th. We're going to go up into Thursday, July 11th. Now here's where it starts getting a little tricky. This is where they're going to start parking these systems right over Louisiana. This is July 11th, Thursday. Still on Thursday, we're going to take this up to July 12th. And we can see the storm's not going to be able to get pushed out. It's just going to keep on circulating here. You can see all the rain for the East Coast. You've already got flooding going on there. Well, it's going to keep on coming. See, that low pressure is just stuck there. We're still on July 12th. It's just going to keep circulating down there. They're going to keep it parked down there till they get the desired effect. So here we are on July 13th. This is when the severe weather is going to start popping off. And what's weird, with all this rain down here, the atmosphere should be more stable, but it's not going to be. This is going to be like a weapon right here. This is going to be tornadoes. I'm talking torrential rain we're looking at 2 feet of rain right here on July 13th. Right there on the coast of Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. You know, it's going to be just bombarding this area. So in 6 hours right here, we're looking at 2 feet of rain. 6 hours away, it don't move much. It's crashing right smack in the center of Mississippi, and this is where Alabama is going to start major flooding in the coastal areas. And look, more 2 feet of rain. So this is crazy, man. This is a big time heads up if you live down here on the coast. We're looking at feet of rain. You notice every single rain system is not your normal half inch of rain. It's 3, 6, 12, 14 inches of rain. Now we're looking at 2 feet of rain. That's up in the purples. That's 2 feet every 6 hours. So this is going to be a mega flooding event. And then you could possibly have severe weather up there in Nebraska. This is July 14th, next Sunday. Go up another 6 hours, guess what? It's still here. It's still dropping 24 inches of rain. So this is going to be a major rain bomb, major heads up for Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. And it's going to track right down the middle of Alabama. You guys are a target monsoonal rain. You know, right here we're looking at 10 to 16 inches of rain in 6 hours. And that low pressure is just going to stay there. Here we are up on July 15th, July 16th, and the rain's still sticking around. July 16th, July 17th, July 18th, another severe weather outbreak for Canada down here in Arizona, going down into Wisconsin. This is on the 18th. Still raining on the East Coast. So they're going to definitely try to drown some people out. I'm telling you right now, you need to get away from that area because this is going to be some crazy rain amounts you've never seen before. More severe weather for Wisconsin, Minnesota, or not Minnesota, but Michigan, Ohio. Here we are on July 19th, Friday. Still raining on the East Coast. A little bit of severe weather for North Carolina, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania. And then here we are going into July 20th. A little bit of severe weather there. Let me back up here. Yeah, down there in New Mexico and Arizona, parts of Arizona. More possible severe weather there for the North Carolina, West Virginia area. On July 20th, 21st, little severe weather outbreak there for South Carolina on the 21st, but it's still raining down here. Still raining on the 21st. Here we are July 22nd. Now this air should be stable, but it won't be. We got mega pop-up severe storms. We have a wind event that's going to be going on here on the 22nd for Colorado, Utah, and then we got this hurricane down here. I don't know the name of or what it's going to be yet. It's going to die out unless they pull some funny business, but that's going to be a really powerful little hurricane there off the coast of the Bajas. This is on the 22nd. Go up in still on the 22nd. Still raining down in Florida, Louisiana, all them places. And if you're not flooded yet, you will be, because you're going to just keep on getting hit. That's the way they do it. So we're going to take this on up into July 23rd. We got a severe weather outbreak up in Nebraska, or South Dakota and Michigan again. Going to go right on over into Wisconsin. Here comes the next severe storms. July 23rd, that's as far as we can go on this GFS. I'm going to go ahead and move this back to the, let's go ahead and go to the Canadian model to see what they're showing. This one don't go out 16 days. But we usually go in between these. Now I'm gonna go through this pretty fast. I'm just gonna kind of cycle through it and see if it's kind of showing the same areas for the severe weather days, July 9th. So this one may not even get up to the really bad stuff. See, this one's showing it track right over Florida. But we'll see, this one's showing it going right up the East Coast. So we're going to have to kind of go in between these. That's showing a pretty good wind event with this model. Look at that, riding right up the coast. So basically we're going to have to go in between. I mean, that's going into a hurricane there on the 15th. So we're going to have to kind of go in between these two models. And then we're going to factor in the weather engineering as it goes. I mean, it pretty much sticks to plan unless they do something crazy. So basically, all we can do is just say this big area, and I don't have the, let's see if I got this here. So basically the target zones, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's kind of a little line, is the whole East Coast. I mean, right here, this is the whole, anywhere from Texas all the way up, right there. That's the target zone. Let me go ahead and get that off. I know I can't draw very good. I didn't have it set up, so. Anyway, we're going to jump into the Mimic map right now. We're going to go ahead and see what's going on with the microwaved imagery. See if we spot any kind of funny business going on with it. So here's our low pressure. Oh, didn't mean to click that. Tropical Depression Cosme. I don't know how to pronounce that. That's the one that's going to probably turn into a hurricane. But right now we're going to go check the Mimic. We'll look at that later down the road. I mean, that thing's not expected to hit anywhere. Nice crowd out there. Much love out there. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks to High Impact again for sending some folks over this way. The more we have listening, the more people are going to be informed. Like, who knows if the mainstream's even talking about what's coming for the South and the East Coast. I mean, you got major rain. Major rain. All right, so I'm just kind of letting this load up a little bit. And right now the shipping operations right over here, right in the high pressure spot. So they're nowhere near the atmospheric river. And that's what we're looking at here. This is the river of the sky. This is all the water vapor up in the troposphere. And we know several companies that steer this atmospheric river. Like I said, we're going to have David Miles on the show. He can steer this river into targets. He did it down in Tasmania, put the fires out. But he's going to be out here in a couple weeks, and we'll find out what's going on with that. All right, guys, so we got that documented. Let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of radar here. You know, the Weather Channel never gives you ample time for warnings. Excuse me there. I mean, never. Like, we warned about the floods weeks before they even got here in the Midwest. They just kept putting it off. And it was too late for people to get all their stuff in storage or up to higher ground. So it looks like they're already hitting right there. Let me go ahead and let me get this on composite radar so that I can see the watches and warnings. Let me go ahead and add that layer. Yeah, tornadoes are going on, you know, where they shouldn't be going on. And I'm going to show you the jet stream and what's going on with it. And that's part of the reason why the weather is the way it is, you know, other than the 100% of the weather modification. So right now, no tornadoes right this minute. Let me put this on 200 frames. Now we can spot these NexRads can be used to steer these systems. And we can show you, if you look at my thumbnail at the intro of this video, it shows the NexRad receiving and transmitting, and we catch them all the time. We can actually see it. Sometimes we can see it really good on the radar right there in Utah. In fact, let me see if it's gonna show up today. But you can actually see the frequencies going from the NexRad to the military NexRad. So I'm going to try to get there and see if it's going off today. And you'll be able to see the frequencies of microwaves going, shooting out to the west. You know, it'll be in like different pulses, and then it shoots back like it's communicating with the military NexRads. And hopefully we can get this to load here. So let me go ahead, see if I can get it here. That's probably not it. It's the thumbnails are not loading. Let me stop this one. Really don't need that right now anyway, because so let me see if I can get this to load. Yeah, we want this one right here. Yeah, it's kind of buffering a little bit there, guys. Sorry about that. Alright, so let's see if we can catch this thing, and I'll zoom in on it so you guys can see it. But yeah, definitely nice crowd out there. Much love out there. Thanks everybody that's watching this and sharing it out here on YouTube, over on DLIVE, over on Facebook, over on Twitch. Much love to all you guys. Thanks for supporting us and getting the word out. You know, hopefully we'll get a little more time this week to dig into what's going on with these earthquakes. Now, you know, earthquakes can be, ground penetrating radar can cause like a 4.7 earthquake. That's just a little bitty, you know, roll around machine can cause a earthquake. So when you're thinking of low frequencies, super low frequencies, and we've seen what happened, you know, over with the Paradise fires. We caught all that on the NexRad. We caught tons of crazy stuff. So I'm looking here. I'm seeing a little bit going out, but nothing. Yeah, there they are. Okay, so let me try to zoom in so you guys can see this. I mean, I got to really zoom in here, and then I'll point it out. All right, guys. So the NexRad's right over here. Let it finish loading the images here. And here we go. You're going to see things shooting back and forth right here at the center of the radar. It's right here. We have an inflow. So the radar is actually sucking the winds into it. But it's going to shoot out a couple little, right where my mouse is, if you can see it. There's one returning. So it's shooting out the radio frequencies, and then it's shooting it back. There goes one right there. Look at it going all the way across the border. And I'll keep my mouse right there at the border. We're going to see the military radar send a frequency back. There it goes. It just shot back real fast. And this is how these things work. They can control and steer these systems. You know, it's picking it up as rain, but it's not rain. It's frequencies. Hey, thanks out there, Christy. So hopefully that's loading up good enough for you guys. Maybe I can change it to where it will pick up a little better. Thanks out there. Much love out there. Who was that? Real good, Tim. Thanks, brother, sister. So I'm going to see if this will make it show up any better. But some days, man, it's so blatant it goes out as a little half arc. Just like a Wi-Fi signal. Yeah, so I'm trying to see if it'll show. Yeah, it's showing up in the red. And then the green. So you got green incoming signals and red outgoing signals. And there's also a microwave pulse ring that's pulsing out of this radar, which I'll, once we're done looking at this zoomed in, I'll back it back out. So you can see the little red dot shooting off this and then the green coming, you got the incoming, and the red is the outgoing. Look at that big wave. That's a pretty good wave of frequencies being shot out. Now I'll go ahead and unzoom this, and then I'll show you the microwaves, the microwave ring. We're back in the green, so it should pick back up. Yeah, the satellite kind of drops in and out sometimes, and usually it really bogs out like right at 10 o'clock, right at 9 o'clock, right at 9:30s. Oh, I didn't click the right one here. Thanks, Sir Bands. Alright, while this is loading, we're going to have to... Yeah, okay, I got that going. I need to take them off. I got to multitask here a little bit, guys, so... I'm still not getting the right one. What's going on here? Alright, so like here we go. So when we back this out, we're going to see this purple ring on here. It's a single load. I should have loaded less frames. But the purple represents the microwave pulse that comes off these radars. And a lot of times you'll see the real solid looking beams coming off these. Them are called searchlight mode. There's actually regulations on them beams. They should not run for more than 5 to 7 minutes. And sometimes we see them beams running for hours. When they're running for hours, they're killing the birds. I mean, it's microwaves. It's like the millimeter waves. So all this purple, these little rings that are pulsing out, that's the microwave pulse. And like I said, you can see the frequencies being shot out in the red, and then they return in the green. These things are actually communicating with the clouds and the military radars. So let's go ahead and jump out of that. Let me crank this on. Let's go see where the actual engineers are flying right now. Mega spraying going on. Kansas, Colorado, Missouri, Oklahoma. You're going to see mass spraying operations here over the next few days in all the targeted states. And you're going to hear them, but you're not going to see them because of the cloud cover. Now this is all mixing in with the bunker fuel. You got all the bunker fuel up here, the real low, thick, nasty clouds. Major spraying operation off the coast of California. We're going to zoom into that one. That one's pretty big time there. Wonder if I can just go to the west here. Maybe I can pick up the whole side here. That may be too expanded out. Yeah, it's too far out. Hold on here. Yeah, we'll try right down here. We'll see what we got here, guys. So we can see right here before this thing even loads, all the thin grayish, these are the bunker fuel that they've been deploying over the last couple weeks. And then you're going to see all the aerosols being deployed by the planes. It's a 2-part mix. So here is the start of the spraying operation. I mean, they're spraying way out here in the Pacific. Just huge. Look how fast these things are turning into the cirrus clouds. If you didn't know, cirrus clouds are the chemtrails. That's what cirrus clouds are. They're the chemtrails. They're made by the planes. There's no such thing as a natural cirrus cloud. They're all man-made. So yeah, huge operation here. All these short little lines drifting into a cloud, all synthetic. Let's go jump over to the Earth null real quick and check the jet stream. So hopefully when we get the get this David Miles on here, I talked to him about, you know, if he would help stop other countries' weather warfare, and hopefully we're going to get into that on the show. So see the jet stream, we're looking at the jet stream winds, and we're finally starting to get a little trough right here over California. Now this thing has just been bypassing the whole United States. It basically is bypassing the whole southern part and midsection part. Let me go ahead and check the vortice layer, see if it's about the same. Yeah, pretty much. That's why these storms are able to they're able to park these storms. And if you go out here and we look where the ships are, they're always on one side of these vortexes. I call these the gear drives, and they're really trying to heat up the Bering Sea, the Bering Strait right here in the Arctic, to get that railway in. I mean, they've been targeting it for about 2 weeks now, and that's why we're getting 90-degree heat. These things, these vortices should be way bigger. There should be one right over here and one way up over here. And what they're doing, they're tapping into this thing and diverting it up and over Alaska. So these wind patterns are nothing normal at all. Let's go ahead and check the ocean. And always like to look for so we may need to put out a wave warning for New Zealand. So let me just check this here. 37-foot waves. Just fast forward this a day. Now I know we gave out a wave warning to where was that? That was over in Portugal last winter, and they got 60-foot waves. We gave them like a 2-day heads up, and then 2 days later they got hit with 40 to 50-foot waves. I mean, it was knocking off the second-story balconies of the you know, apartments and motels on the shore. It's pretty crazy. All right, let me get this back on now. All right, so we're looking at the sea surface temperatures. You know, they try to say that we're having global warming, and really when you look at the temperatures of the waters, they're actually really pretty cold right now. Let's look at these sea surface temperature anomalies and where all the heat is. You know, during the El Nino, it'd be right here at the equator, and we have the opposite of an El Nino. It's not a La Nina though. All the heat is now around. We're actually getting a pretty good heat spike there by Hawaii, all right here off the coast. I mean, this makes me wonder what's going on under the ocean. What's going on volcanically under the ocean? And we know they're intentionally heating up here, but what is this? Let's go back a year and see what it looked like last year. So they were already working on the north there. See, this is where the heat was more down south. Look at the cool water last year. So let's go back one more year if we can. I'd like to compare the years so we can kind of see what's going on yearly. So yeah, see, they've been targeting the north for several years now. Plus you have Fukushima up here. That's another part of the heat anomalies. Still leaking, still poisoning the ocean. All right, let's go ahead and check our carbon monoxide, and we can see all the fires up here in Alaska, all the fires up in Canada. I mean, there should be high bad air quality alerts for the whole upper northeast. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Ohio, everybody up here should be under air quality alerts. Wonder if they are. What is this down here? To me, this is leaking out of the ground, and it has been ever since the Also Canyon leak. It's been leaking ever since. Let's go ahead and check the carbon dioxide. Still bad down there in California, where you know, of course it's going to be bad where the fires are, but you know, here up in the upper northeast and down there in California. The two highest spots. Horrible air up there. Let's go ahead and check the particulates. And we got this next big dusting. This is not going to help. This will keep hurricanes from forming. But this is just going to load the sky up with tons of seeds for the rain. Let's fast forward to see when this dust storm is going to hit. It's going to be there in the Leeward Islands here in a day, a couple days. It only goes out a couple days. So we're getting ready to get blasted again with some more toxic air. So it's not showing up too bad this time as far as the PM 2.5s. I mean, it's still high. And all this stuff you're looking at right now, that's from the last couple dust storms. All this crap that's all over. That's why I'm got coughing and crap. It's because of this Sahara dust. You know, that's what took out the hurricane over here, was this dust. Go ahead and check the PM10s. These are a little bit bigger microns here. And the PM1's the most deadliest. Alright, yeah. Look at it. Here's some of the smoke up here from the fires up here in Ontario. I mean, toxic air. So hopefully you guys are getting the air quality alerts you deserve. You also had the aerosols being deployed just all over the place. Yeah, I didn't get to load this map all the way, so I think we'll leave that right here for now. Alright, let me crank this back on. And I want to go, let's go down here down south and just take a look and see if they're getting ready for the storms yet. So yeah, they're going to start spraying the Gulf of Mexico, which it looks like they already are. And they're priming it up right now. So they're priming up for the next set of floods coming up. So anyway, you guys got your warnings. Hopefully you wrote down your dates and you're ready to get to higher ground before it gets there, not when it gets there, because then you'll be trapped. So make sure you have a plan now. Same for the East Coast. You know, the GFS model was taking it right there up Mississippi, Alabama. The Canadian model was taking that right over Florida, right over Georgia, right up the East Coast. So you got to pretty much warn all them areas, because they're doing this. They're cloud seeding like crazy right now. They're going to park that system. And yeah, so it's going to be like stuck there for days and hours and hours. It's going to be like a biblical flood. This is the crap I'm breathing right now. This is all man-made clouds right here. Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and call this a show. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us. Much love out there. Thanks to everybody that helps us. Thanks to everybody out there that shares this information out. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, we would not have anybody watching, because YouTube definitely hides this stuff. Anyway, guys, much love. We're going to play a song called Rise, because we're going to have to rise soon. We can't just sit back and do nothing. Then we're going to play our fight song. Then we'll play the victory song. And then we will all meet in the end. Anyway, guys, much love. I'll come join you in chat. And I'll jump over there on DLIVE and give away the treasure chest. So here we go. Let's rise, guys. Crank it up. Here we go.